Zero. I was not impressed at all. This might be their least impressive win of the season, Skip. When you look at what they did, okay, on their 3 TD drives of 60, 89, and 75 yards, they got bailed out every time by undisciplined backups. The first quarter touchdown was a 19-yard penalty, a defensive offside, and a defensive pass interference. Third quarter touchdown, 50 yards in penalty. 2 defensive pass interference, bailed out Dallas on 2nd and 9 and 3rd and 19. So 3rd and forever again, they got bailed out. Fourth quarter TD drive, Skip, with a 15-yard penalty, roughing the passer, and the guy blows out his patella tendon because he's about to pick the ball.
He was.
So I'm not impressed. And the drives in which they didn't get bailed out, punt, field goal, fumble, interception, field goal, 3-and-out punt, 3-and-out punt. And I'm supposed to be impressed. And Skip, we listed off all the injuries of the guys that weren't going to play. And a lot of that, maybe they could have played if the game would have meant something, but it's like, you know what? It's going to come down to the final game of the season anyway. Let's try to get as many guys healthy as we possibly can because we can still win the division. We go to Jacksonville, beat them. We're division champs, and we get a home game. But, Skip, the Cowboys were not impressive last night. Dak Prescott again, and we're going to talk about him a little later in the show. He did it to you again, I kept trying to tell you, 7 years is a large sample size, and you've seen this reoccurring theme. I don't know how many times you got to see The Godfather to know what the movie's about. I don't know. Hey, any movie that has a trilogy, you know what the movie's about.
Yep.
Dak got, I don't know what they call a 7-year, but we've seen enough of this to know what Dak is. And we've seen enough to know what he isn't. So, Skip, this was very unimpressive to me because they're going, the offense, I mean, Dobbs, look, you can tell he's a guy that hadn't played a whole lot of football. I get it. Very, very smart guy, 4.0 aeronautical engineering.
Yeah.
So you know the guy is really, really smart.
No, he's a rocket scientist, literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
But come on, Skip. I thought the Cowboys, and I think I predicted the score 41-10.
You did.
And it might have been 41-10 had Dak not, fumbled a snap, boot. The first interception, Skip, that's not his fault. Hendershot got to hold on to the ball. That's not his fault. But that second one, now, and you notice, Skip, when he throws multiple picks, the same guy gets them. You look at Green Bay, you look at the Texans, you look at Jags, you look at last night. When he throws multiple interceptions, I don't know, maybe they have a magnet or something in that ball and they connect, then they direct to the other guy.
Maybe.
But this was not impressive at all, Skip. I wish I could say, well, Skip, I could give him a 3 or 4, but I can't give him nothing. I know Jen said a scale of 1 to 10, but that was a 0. That was a nothing burger last night.
For once, I can't fight you. I'm going to answer Jen's question by going to a 3 because I did see a couple of bright spots, but I'll get to those in a moment because I need to unleash on all that I did not love and did loathe about last night. Let's start with young Joshua Dobbs, who's actually been in this league now for 6 seasons.
Right.
Just for the record, this is his 6th stop in the National Football League. Just for the record, going into last night, Joshua Dobbs had thrown a grand total of 17 passes in the National Football League, none for touchdowns, had not started a game, and had arrived in Tennessee sort of a la Baker Mayfield with the Rams, where he was there for 8 days. But he just came in and he gets thrown into a fire that will rage when they go to Jacksonville because they're going to go play for all the marbles in that division and a home playoff game. And all of a sudden it's up to Josh. I assume they're going to go with Joshua Dobbs because he was pretty good last night under the circumstances. In fact, I'm going to go, he was very good last night under the circumstances. We're up against Joshua Dobbs, and I look up with 2 minutes and 4 seconds left in the third quarter, and he throws a touchdown pass that cuts it to 17-13, Dallas, 17-13. And I look at my box score on my computer, and at that moment, Joshua Dobbs had thrown for 188 yards to Dak Prescott's 177. Help me out. Is that good? No,
terrible.
It's pathetic. It's just pathetic. 17-13. I told you yesterday I needed a 40-0 statement. I needed them to build on, to rocket fuel the momentum that they relaunched against Philadelphia after they blew all their momentum at Jacksonville.
Right.
I thought it was one of those nights on a national stage in which you flex your firepower and say, we have officially taken off.
Right.
You come out and you put them away early. You put them out of their misery right away. But what did I see in the big picture about this game? It was a tale of two Mikes. They have a Mike and we have a Mike as a head coach, right? But their head coach, what's that?
Theirs is better than yours.
He's way better because he actually got his backups ready to play the football game.
They did.
He got Joshua Dobbs on the fly, ready to have some poise and confidence and trustability in this football game. The Tennessee Titans came out like they actually wanted to win the football game, and they fought their tails off all night long. And they actually got some bad breaks on some officiating calls, or we might be having a really, really different conversation right now. But it's one mic on one sideline, and please drop the mic on my sideline. He's a disaster. He's a bump on a log. I don't know what he does, but I know what he doesn't do. He does not motivate my team. He cannot push the right buttons for my team because a lot of that is inspired by the head coach. You know it, and I know it. You were afraid, in a good way, of Mike Shanahan because he strikes fear. He strikes fear in me.
That's
Mike
really
Shanahan
the last
does.
voice that you hear before you take the field.
That is correct. Jimmy Johnson, who I just idolized as the coach of my team, they were scared to death of him. And he would have instilled fear in this football team this week that these guys are coached by that guy, and you're going to have to go put them away fast. And we want to come out and play this game with pedal to the metal and foot on throat, right out of the locker room. It's how you come out of the locker room prepared for this game. If you're that team and you want to do this year, you just step on them right out of the locker room. And we saw Mike McCarthy, unfortunately, a couple of years back now on Hard Knocks. Those are the lamest, most pathetic motivational speeches I've heard. They were so bad that I had to put my fingers in my ears because if I'm a Dallas Cowboy, I tune him out. And obviously he did not reach them last night because they were not ready to play this football game the way you should have been ready. No. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's deal with the bad stuff before I get to a couple of bright spots. They do go down and score. And I'm going to hit one quick bright spot this is in the first drive. And I was just knocked out of my chair once again. They did face a 3rd and 5 at the Tennessee 37. This is on the way to their opening touchdown. And this is 7:42 left in the first quarter, so it's still very early. Who did he go to on 3rd and 5? Did he go to CeeDee Lamb? Did he go to Michael Gallup? Did he flip it to Tony Pollard? There was no Tony Pollard to flip it to last night. Is that not a good thing?
Yeah.
Doesn't he look like he's already like a 1A receiver?
Skip, you just need a couple of plays a game.
Okay.
You don't need.
I got it.
CD gonna give you the 9-10 catch game.
Yes, he will.
You need the 2 to 3 from T.Y.
Okay, I'm loving that. I'm in awe of that. He's everything that I wanted Odell to be, and Odell's just not remotely ready to do that.
Right.
But this not young man, he was ready to play.
Yeah.
They said he came in, and when they worked him out, he looked like he was in supreme shape.
Right.
Maybe he's one of those guys who just stays in shape. I don't know, because he looks good to me. He looks quick to me. He looks fast to me.
Right.
He looks completely, utterly confident in the system to me. And I thought it was pretty significant after the game. CeeDee actually asked him if he could have his game jersey so he could keep it in his collection because he says he's become such a mentor to me. Well, that'll help too.
Right. Yeah.
To have a guy who's been there and done all that before. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the good news. Then we get to the second quarter. Would you believe in one quarter we turn it over 3 times? It's just hard to do. It's debacle.
What's going to happen till you do that in the playoffs?
Okay, well, you're out. You're gone. You're gone. You cannot do this. So from the quarterback's point of view, I don't know what color you call their jersey. Are they blue jerseys or whatever they are? Yeah, dark blue.
Yep.
Okay. Aren't you just seeing dark blue?
Yes.
Help me out here. Have we not seen recurring patterns of Dak? What's the thought pattern?
Right.
And he was up front after the game. I just made a mistake. It was a bad idea. You throw it and then you move on.
Yes.
And his whole theme, their whole team, the team's theme after the game was resilience. We are resilient. We let it go and move on to the next play. Well, that's a lot to let go because I'm looking at 3 straight turnovers against a decimated football team.
Any other team, you're getting beat.
You're getting beat.
Because that team is starting a quarterback that just recently arrived. They were playing with so many backups.
Yep.
If you play any other team
Yep.
that has their starters, their normal collection of guys playing, Skip, you're getting beat, you turn the ball over 3 times in a quarter.
Okay. And then my offensive line. We wound up losing our center. You can argue he was the weakest link on a very good offensive line. God bless him, I'm knocking on wood for Biotish, but he's got a high ankle sprain. First, I thought it was his knee.
Right.
Because he got rolled up on pretty badly. But I don't know. If it's high ankle, he could be gone for a while.
Right.
So they had to move Connor McGovern inside. And then all of a sudden, Jason Peters at age 40 is thrust in at left tackle. And here now you're just revamping.
Yeah.
It's not great. You know, like it's this deep into it. It's just not great. And I got to tell you, all night long, that offensive line was getting whipped.
Oh, yeah. Especially in the run game.
It was
in the run game, Skip. Well, y'all run game. I mean, you think about it, Skip. You had 32 for 87, but one of those runs was 23 yards. So basically, you had 31 for 64. If you take away Mike Davis's 23-yard run, you got whipped at the point of attack now.
Did we get whipped again and again and again? And let me just show you my least favorite run of the night. The glaring miss last night was Tony Pollard's a star. I don't care what you say, but he's got pop. He's got home run capability, and we missed him dearly last night because he makes you think twice on defense. Because if you miss on him, he is gone, because he doesn't look like he's accelerating, but he can accelerate. They missed the star that Tony Pollard has turned into, and by the way, he made the Pro Bowl.
Right.
Okay, so he's out. I think he'll be back certainly in time for the playoffs. I don't know if he'll play next week or not, but he's got a thigh bruise.
Right. Yeah.
But that was glaring last night that you did not have that guy. And Zeke, look at the numbers. They're
19 for 37?
Yeah, look at the yards per, isn't it?
1.9.
1.9 a carry?
3.9, 3.7, 32 rushes, 87 yards.
Okay. That tells me that going forward, you can't win with just Zeke at running back.
No.
And it's been a nice thunder and lightning, but you need the lightning more than you need the thunder. That's just me. All right. So then we get deeper into the game, and I'm going to flash forward to a play that I think you mentioned, but it became the play of the night, but it's a deep throw to Burks, their young receiver, on Nashawn Wright. And he's another big positive for me, but it's a deep throw with 10:50 left in the fourth quarter. Would you believe he led my team in tackles both times, in both solo and assisted tackles? He led the team. Now, you could argue you don't want a cornerback leading your team in tackles. Yeah. But he sticks his nose in everything. He had 2 passes defensed against the Eagles. He had 2 more last night. And you know why it is? Because they're throwing at him, right? Correct. Okay, because he's the new corner. Yep. I think he's pretty good, and I think he could hold up and take me a distance in the postseason without Anthony Brown, who'd been a mainstay, obviously, and is gone for the year. Correct. And without Jordan Lewis, who'd been a mainstay as a slot corner and is gone for the year. Okay. Okay, so that's hope for me. That was one big bright spot. So the point is, if Tennessee gets that call, I don't know. We might be having a whole different conversation.
That's a first and goal situation. Okay. Also, Skip, you didn't capitalize on their 2 turnovers. You took the ball away from them.
We did.
And you did nothing. Okay. And I think that was the most disappointing thing for me, is that to see Dak, and you talked about how well he played last week, and maybe he should have been offensive player of the week of the whole entire league. That went to, I forget who that went to. It might have went to Cousins. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, Skip, I think, a lot of people say, well, Dak should have won that award. And he played really well. He had that 1 turnover early, but after that, he was basically a clean game. And you look, and he comes here, and he turns the ball over 3 times.
Okay, I got it.
14. It got up to 14 to start. I think it opened at 12 and a half.
Yeah, okay. But right before the game, I looked, and it was 13 and a half. So for a lot of people, it was a cover, barely. I'm not impressed, but I'm clinging to body of work, because I got one big picture reminder for you. Very quietly, we have won 8 out of the last 10 games. The only 2 losses were in overtime at Green Bay, when we led 28-14 going to the fourth quarter, and at Jacksonville in overtime, another road game, in which we led 27-10 with 4 minutes left in the third quarter. My point to you is, could we have won each of those? Sure, we could. Yeah. We were in commanding position at Green Bay and at Jacksonville to have won our last 10 games, even though the Texans game, highly lost. Okay, highly unimpressive, and this one even less impressive than the Texans game. But we won. And I saw emerging firepower and star power in Tony Pollard and CeeDee Lamb. And Dak comes and goes, but when he comes, it's sensational.
Are you not concerned that Dak is tied for the league in interceptions and has missed 5 games. So where would he be if he had played those games? What's the likelihood of Dak plays 5 games and they're clean?
Okay, I got it.
He'd be running away with the interception league.
For all that you say, and you're just spitting facts, they've won 8 of the last 10 games.
And can you tell the people at home why they lost those 2 games? What did he do?
Nothing. He did nothing at Green Bay.
He threw 2 interceptions. They got Green Bay back in the game. Yeah. He threw the 2 interceptions. They got Jacksonville back in the game.
He did. But at Green Bay, he had the ball 4 times in the fourth quarter in overtime and did 0 with it. But again, McCarthy turns down a 53-yard field goal at Green Bay, and Dak was moving the ball because Pollard had just gone for 21 yards in overtime at Jacksonville, and he throws it and hits Noah Brown right in the hands, and it gets flipped up into a snake-bitten interception like Peyton Hendershot's, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm still thinking the glass is not only half full, it's 9/10 full.
You still ain't told me what's in that glass, because I might not want it.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.